Welcome to Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio with author, speaker, and your host, Pat Rouleau. Serving you a generous helping of everything you need to know to help you and your loved ones stay safe during any doctor or hospital visit. The program is not intended to replace medical advice from a licensed professional, but rather to encourage you to become a well-informed participant in your health and well-being. And now, your host, Pat Rouleau.
Hello, I'm Pat Rouleau. Welcome back to this one-of-a-kind patient safety program that fearlessly explores and exposes little-known healthcare and hospital hazards. I'm just thrilled that you care to join us. Thank you. Today, I have a guest who was misdiagnosed by 14 doctors and a handful of chiropractors that left her at the doorstep of an unnecessary surgery and disability. I think her message is important for all of us to keep in mind as we journey through our own healthcare maze. So that's coming up a little later in the show. And the boys are back for some fun and games. So you know the drill. Get cozy and comfortable and enjoy what we've prepared for you. Because right now, it's time for the healthcare hazard of the week. Don't shake my hand. For some reason, this summer has been my time to accompany my mom and Bob to multiple doctor appointments. Not something I relish. However, all of these appointments are always a guarantee of head-shaking moments of unbelievable behavior on the part of doctors, nurses, and healthcare staff. Always plenty of food for good show material. And Bob's appointment last week did not disappoint. We've talked so many times on this program about hand washing and the correct protocol for proper glove use. Well, it doesn't take much of a brain to figure out that if doctors and nurses run around all day and don't wash their hands, they will spread bacteria, germs, disease all over the place. Even a child can understand this basic fact. Yet study after study shows that doctors wash their hands maybe 50% of the time, maybe more when the hand washing solution is placed at the correct location, maybe less when they have a heavy workload. This gets studied over and over again, gets published in medical journals, articles, papers. It's ridiculous. Here's a recurring theme that I've documented for myself during all of this summer's appointments. No one is washing hands. And I don't need a study to prove it. Here's how it goes. The nurse or assistant ushers you in the exam room, opens the door, obviously handling the doorknob, moves the chairs around, sits at the computer, and yes, computers and keyboards are in every exam room because computers have become an indispensable component of the healthcare environment as more hospitals implement electronic solutions to improve patient safety. Back to that in a minute. So this person asks a bunch of questions, types the answers into the computer, grabs the blood pressure cuff, takes the reading, types that into the computer, hangs onto the doorknob, says, "Good to see you," and walks out. No hand washing, coming in or going out. Okay? Now the doctor knocks on the door, handles the doorknob, and for what reason? I don't know. Immediately extends a germy hand and desires to shake on it. Oh, please don't do that. My hand is clean. Not now. He or she moves a chair, sits down, and once again types into the computer. Then depending on the situation, this person with unwashed hands palpitates your neck, listens to your heart, touches you all over, sits back down at the computer, types some more using the keyboard, moves the chair, shakes your hand, bids farewell, touches the doorknob in order to escape, and off we go. Once again, no hand washing. Yet, get this, during the wait between seeing the nurse and the doctor, which was a good 25 minutes, I had plenty of time to watch the computer's screensaver tout the virtues of the hospital, which included a repeated 30-second image of someone scrubbing their hands, lots of sudsing and bubbles, and some well-crafted Madison Avenue marketing mumbo statements about their ongoing concern for patient safety. Sadly, the only hand washing I witnessed was during that video. So this takes me to a new infection control problem. Technology. We are quickly reaching the point where all patient medical records, including x-rays, CAT scans, MRIs, will be stored in digital form. Users, including doctors, nurses, and staff, will input and retrieve these records using a keyboard, a mouse, a touchpad, the touchscreen. Why? Because hospitals must comply with federal regulations that mandate electronic medical record keeping as a condition to receive government funds. We already know that computer keyboards are one of the top 5 germiest surfaces in the workplace. And the typical office doesn't deal with blood, stool, MRSA, C. diff, and a host of other bacteria and superbugs. A study conducted by the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Washington, D.C., isolated bacteria from 95% of its keyboards. The keyboards were found to harbor a host of pathogens, including stool organisms and fungus, and at least one strain was vancomycin, an antibiotic resistant. If the current rapid use of technology continues, computer keyboards will soon become standard equipment in patient rooms, basically bringing technology to the patient. Or will it be bringing infection to the patient? In a new study, Dr. Gary Noskin and his colleagues studied 3 types of bacteria commonly found in hospital environments. They contaminated computer keyboards and keyboard covers with the bacteria and examined the germ's ability to survive on both surfaces. They then found that these bacteria could survive up to 24 hours after being put on keyboards and covers. The research also showed that after any contact with the keyboards, gloved and ungloved hands frequently became contaminated as well. This problem is especially important in hospitals and other healthcare environments where patients are at risk of contracting bacterial infections from healthcare providers who use computers, according to Dr. Noskin. Now, he presented these findings at the 15th annual scientific session of the Society for Healthcare Epidemiology of America in Los Angeles very recently, and the study generated coverage from various news outlets including CNN, the Chicago Sun-Times, and Reuters. Well, I just love when they do these studies and present findings as if this were some kind of rocket science revelation. All you have to do is be a simple-minded patient like myself and watch what happens for 10 minutes to figure out the negative ramifications. But no, after locating study after study, I found this pearl of wisdom at the end of some scientific paper. It suggests, I quote, "We recommend future studies. More research is required on the field of computer devices acting as reservoirs for nosocomial pathogens and the actual risk of cross-infection through the computers. Furthermore, we recommend that these studies should go beyond computer devices and also include other electronic devices commonly used in hospitals that have the potential to act as reservoirs for infections, such as phones, pagers, personal digital assistants, and so on." Oh, let me unquote that. More studies? How about this? Wash your hands, especially before and after contact with a computer keyboard. Hospitals and doctors' offices must review their keyboard cleaning policies, and that includes disinfecting the keyboard and the mouse and washing hands. In fact, there are companies making medical-grade keyboards that are waterproof and antimicrobial. If I worked in a doctor's office or a hospital, I would put gloves on simply to protect myself before using the public computer keyboard. Even at home, I wipe down my keyboard and desk with a sanitizing wipe every few days, and I'm the only one who uses them. But then the whole glove situation is another story. While waiting and watching the screensaver for nearly a half hour during Bob's appointment, I looked at the 3 boxes of gloves attached to the wall. The gloves are jammed into the box every which way. 2 of the boxes had gloves hanging out with the fingers dangling. Not that anyone used them, but if they did, now we have an unwashed, bacteria-laden hand grabbing the fingers of the glove prior to putting them on, thus contaminating the glove. I actually found and spoke to someone recently who has a company that makes the glove dispensing box so that the wrist portion of the glove hangs out instead of the fingers. So some solutions are out there, folks. Now, although I think I mentioned this to you a few weeks ago, when I asked a nurse about this previously with the fingers dangling outside of the glove, she answered, "These gloves are to protect me, not you." Not the right answer, but at least she was honest. Well, here's my bottom line. Instead of attempting to blind me with screensavers that flash happy hand washing, How about addressing the problem of cross-contamination brought on by technology? I don't need to be dazzled by a screensaver. I need my doctor or nurse to enter the room and wash hands. I need my doctor or nurse to be a thinking person, to consider that everyone is touching the same keyboard and that cross-contamination is the number one healthcare hazard. I need my doctor or nurse to be mindful and careful with my health. And I'm not even going to go into how much radiation is being generated by these devices. Suffice it to say that I bring my acoustometer to these appointments, a little handheld device that measures the amount of radiation in the environment. And I don't know how these healthcare people are going to survive. The levels are similar to sitting in a microwave oven with the door shut on full power. Technology in healthcare is creating unforeseen problems as everyone rushes to embrace it without giving any thought to the negative effects, damaging healthcare workers and patients. It's a bad scene, and that's why it is more important than ever to stay out of the healthcare environment if you can, and to be mindful of cross-contamination opportunities as doctors and nurses disregard hand washing and glove protocol. Call them out on it. Don't meekly ask them if they would mind washing their hands. Wash your hands before you touch me. And please don't shake my hand. And with that, let's hear some legal news you can use. You've heard me talk about my attorney friends at Schraff & King, and I know many of you have taken my advice and contacted them to help you with your advance directives. Things like a healthcare power of attorney, living will, help with information about the Do Not Resuscitate form, and more. Attorneys certified in elder law offer you something that other attorneys do not. So don't go anywhere else. Contact the folks at Schraff & King today. They're located in Willoughby Hills, just south of State Route 6 and Interstate 91. And you can call them at 440-585-1600. That's 440-585-1600. Or visit them online at schraffking.com, SCHRAFFKING, schraffking.com. And be sure to let them know that you heard about them here on Speak Up and Stay Alive. Again, it's 440-585-1600. 440-585-1600. Call them today. You are listening to Speak Up and Stay Alive, Patient Safety Radio, and I am your hostess, Pat Rulo, always on the lookout for a guest who can make a difference in your life. And today's guest is a gal who I met briefly at a recent speaking event. She mentioned that she had been through a very traumatic time with a back pain that was misdiagnosed and undiagnosed by 14 doctors and 5 chiropractors. At age 31, she was to the point of not walking and on disability from this mystery in her feet and legs that turned out to be far from a mystery and actually very common. So I thought I'd share her and her experience with you as a way to help you to not go through what she went through. She is Stacey Pangle, and so it is with great pleasure to welcome you to the show, Stacey.
Great to be here, Pat.
Thank you for coming up to me after that event and sharing that experience, and somehow we agreed upon the idea that it would be really helpful for you to share your story, so I appreciate that. The whole point of this conversation today is going to be to share your journey and help others who most likely won't have the same symptoms or diagnosis as you, but rather to expose and explore the similarities that many people find during a time of being undiagnosed or misdiagnosed and what they can do about it. And so with that, if you would, share your journey with us.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, thanks so much. The journey was actually, it actually, I thought, came on rather quickly, but as I look back on it, it probably was coming on for quite some time. I had a car accident in 2009. I fractured my L1 vertebrae, which is up fairly high, more almost in the middle of your back. I was laid up for a while, but following the accident, I had 6 weeks off. I healed very well, I thought. I got back to business. I'm a very athletic person, so I just got back to working out. At this time, I was 29 years old and got back to working out, and everything seemed to be going great until about 2 years later. Suddenly what happened is I was doing an at-home workout, one of the normal ones, pretty intense, but I actually ended up injuring my shoulder. My shoulder was just kind of like, I guess it was they called it like a hairline type fracture of my rotator cuff. So I was down for a while. It seemed like every exercise I did hurt my shoulder, even if I wasn't using my arm. It just was hurting it. So I stopped, working out for a while. And it was a good while, I'd say, 2 months or so. Suddenly some strange events started happening. My feet and my legs started really hurting me. By 3 months, I was, just taking some leisurely walks in the evening, but nothing too serious because everything was hurting my shoulder. If my arms moved back and forth when I walked, that hurt. So, I was just trying to, do some gentle stuff and get back to my routine. And these feet were doing something really odd. I mean, it was like my heel started to hurt. And I couldn't figure out what the heck it could be. I mean, I just thought, this is so weird. So I started on this exploration to try to figure out what was going on, like what was happening. And that it started out of the first of many doctors. What happened is I went to the doctor, and it was around the back of my heels. So they diagnosed me the very first time around with Achilles Tendonitis. I'd never even really heard of it, but, it made sense. It was right around where the Achilles tendon was, and they thought it was very strange, though, from the get-go, that both of my feet hurt at the same time at the same place. So what ends up happening is, I get diagnosed with that. I rest. I do physical therapy. From day one, my physical therapist just didn't think it was Achilles tendonitis. He sent me back, and we start the journey with the MRI and the testing. We do some x-rays and MRI, and they can't find anything. So I go to several other orthopedics in the same practice. This guy says, you know what, maybe we could send you over to this guy. He more specializes in feet. Or this guy specializes in this particular area of the foot. I end up going to a podiatrist in a whole other practice. Doctor, you could tell, very knowledgeable, and he just said, there's nothing structurally wrong with your feet. He said, it's coming from upstairs, honey. He said, I think it's coming from your back. He said, the only time both feet are hurting like that at the same time in the same place is usually when it's coming from an area of your back. Well, I had never even heard of such a thing. So this goes to tell you, how unknowledgeable I was at the time. Apparently, this is a very common deal, your back causing foot and leg pain. But, of course, I didn't have leg pain. I just had some feet issues, bad feet issues. To the point now, by this point, I could barely walk. It was really getting bad. I was in a sales job, so I was running around a lot. I was knocking on doors, and I was in and out of my car, and it was to the point where I was just miserable. It just kept going and going and going up until about 15 doctors. I started, the journey with the back doctors because this podiatrist told me to do that. So that journey was much the same as the orthopedist journey, where it was like, well, this doctor specializes in this. This doctor might know because he specializes in this. They started doing nerve testing and nerve specialists and EMGs and things like that. So as that went on, I was going downhill fast. At this time, I'm now 31. I officially went on disability from work because I could barely walk. I was getting tingling and strange feelings in my legs. I mean, going to all these nerve doctors, it's not quite like fibromyalgia. It's not quite like this, or it's not quite that. I just didn't seem to fit into a neat little box. I went to several chiropractors. They just could not figure it out. I started acupuncture with my chiropractor. Midway through this deal, I'm waiting at this point, now 3 months into my disability, I'm waiting to get a spinal cord stimulator put in my back. It is a numbing agent because nobody knew what it was by this point. I'm at Georgetown University Hospital. I made the appointment, and it's all set. You know, they're going to put this thing in my back because they don't know what it is. I've really kind of succumbed to the fact that this is going to happen, but I just wasn't quite ready to give up. People were giving me books on chronic pain, and it was strange. This doesn't really like me, but I refused to read them. I thought, no, you know what? This is not chronic pain. And for some reason in my mind, I wouldn't believe it. So I guess as this goes on to where a friend of mine just gets me a good old-fashioned massage. She picks me up and gets me into this masseuse and says, you just need a massage. Why don't you just get a massage? You're miserable? Let's just do this. This is my gift to you type of thing, good old girlfriend. So I go into this masseuse. I start telling her about what's going on with me, and she says, I got a guy, and I think it's just another guy. He tells me who it is. It's a chiropractor in Reston, Virginia. He said that he's much different than anyone else. And I said, sorry, I've been to so many of those. I just don't think it's it. She said, just do me a favor and just do the consultation. What do you have to lose? So she was right. I did. I didn't have anything to lose, so I made an appointment with him. He looked at me and did some testing, and he said, yep, I'll have you walking within a month. I said, wait, so you understand that I'm getting ready to have a surgery to get a spinal cord stimulator in my back to numb my feet and legs. So how sure are you? And he says, oh my, honey, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you that I will have you walking in a month. Okay. I said, what is this? What do you mean? I don't understand. I've been to 15 doctors and 14 doctors and 5 chiropractors. And he said, you have something called subluxation in the L5 region of your back. That is the crossroads, or I guess, where everything comes together. Very instrumental in helping you to walk, to move. And yes, you're having most of your pain in your feet, but most people do tend to have it in their legs. So that's a little different for you, but you are having the tingling and things, which I suspect is likely because your nerves are just so raw from being pressed on up in that region. And he said, well, I do a type of chiropractic called the activator method. And it's the touch method. What it basically, the premise of it is, when you touch one area of the body and go down to the feet, so let's say, for example, he touches my right shoulder. Well, he would immediately go down to my feet. And if there is an issue or if something is misaligned in my right shoulder, my feet will flinch about a half an inch as a natural reflex. So it's almost the body's way of telling you there's an issue. If your feet move up about a half of an inch, he knows there's something in that area that's problematic. Well, there were a lot of areas that were problematic in my back, but, my hips were misaligned. Everything was just out of alignment. And he suspects it's because that old shoulder, all of a sudden, my whole right side started becoming weak because I wasn't using it anymore. Well, I already had this tendency towards the back issue because I had a broken back, fractured back, whatever, you want to call it. And I had this tendency, things were getting weak down there already. So it was kind of like the perfect storm. Once your feet do that flinch or that reflex, he then clicks with a little, it looks like a little gun, but it's very non-invasive, not painful at all. And he clicks your muscles back into place. And the idea is that after you continue to go, I was in treatment for about 4 months. but I slowly started weaning myself off. He said, okay, 3 times a week, then 2 times a week, then once a week. And then finally I was good to go. That's when your muscles start remembering where to go again. They say, oh, I'm in the right spot again. Okay, I remember that. I'll stay there. That's how it kind of worked. Within 6 months, I was doing Zumba. I was lifting light weights. I actually had a little bit of a brief relapse when I stopped exercising. I had my job was getting very demanding, and once again, I stopped exercising for a little while, and this relapse started to come into the mix. I started having some issues again, and by that time, I was only going to him maybe once a month or so. Well, he recommended, do yourself a favor and get into Pilates. And I didn't know what Pilates was. I thought it was glorified yoga. I just thought it was a mat. And he said, no. I want you to go to a Pilates studio that has machines called reformers. You lay on them. It's very, very, very easy on the joints. Basically, you do resistance training on this little machine that you lay on. He said that's going to keep your core strong, which is in turn going to keep your back strong, and going to prevent this from happening again. So it's been quite the journey, and I've learned a lot, but I am just, I guess, mystified that it was such a long journey and did take so much, but very grateful for the doctors that came into my life later on.
Oh, I'm sure that's a heck of a journey for something as common as basically your back being out of alignment. Subluxation is a minor misalignment of the spine, which causes nerve interference. And so many people have that, I would imagine. And as you were speaking, I took a couple notes. And the first thing I thought was the heel bone's connected to the backbone. I mean, yes. These are things that we need to recall, that everything is interconnected. And the more you spoke, I took another note that just said the more specialized a healthcare provider is, the narrower the focus.
Correct.
And so, they're only trained to know that tiny little spot and can't see the whole picture. And I'm kind of surprised that it took that many chiropractors to figure that out. And maybe some of our listeners will recall, we used to have a chiropractor on our show with regularity, Dr. Roediger, Tad Roediger, out of Chardon in Ohio. And he uses the activator method, which is just so non-invasive. There's no snap, crackle, and pop going on. It's just that little activator mechanism. And like you say, you lay down on your stomach and he puts your feet up in the air, and he could see if one's longer or shorter than the other, and apparently through training knows where to find the spots and the trigger points. So yeah, I think we just need to be able somehow to take a broad paintbrush picture of all this. But if you're not a healthcare provider, how would you have known this?
You wouldn't, and it's so funny that you made mention of, the hip bone connected to the heel bone and all of that, because that was actually the running joke we had going. I'm not knocking doctors. I think medical doctors are wonderful, and you need to have them in this world, and I'm very thankful we have them. However, it seems like we seem to be moving into a world where there are many specialists, but not many doctors who are able to have a broad focus on the entire body itself and how it all works together. One of my hopes is that one day we can become more integrated, maybe have a more integrated focus on health, because the body is very, very, very interconnected, and the nervous system is a huge, huge key factor in many things that happens in your body. I mean, I was undergoing a lot of stress as well when this issue happened with my back. The way my chiropractor described it is there's a misfire in my nervous system that was causing my back to not move like it was supposed to. When I turned to the right, my L5 didn't move to the right with me, and it didn't come back with me. It was a misfire. The nerves that were sending messages and signals to my back were not doing what they were supposed to. They weren't sending the right signals, and they do attribute that. I was in a very, very traumatic time in my life, very stressful time, and personally and professionally. Certainly, that was part of the storm. Subluxations many times are thought to be caused from nervous system imbalances as well.
And the fear is somebody goes in with a set of symptoms, and when you can't find any answer to that, then they're treated with antibiotics or surgery or just labeled as a kook or,
Sure.
psychotherapy when really the solution can be simple. So with that in mind, do you have any suggestions for someone who thinks that they're either misdiagnosed or undiagnosed? What can they do to avoid this 14 doctors and 5 chiropractors later?
I absolutely recommend, first of all, never giving up hope. With this in mind, with that spirit of hope, I do recommend that you do be open to trying many different types of doctors, to be open to trying different types of treatments. I kind of failed to mention, I'm going to digress just briefly here, but I failed to mention that after my relapse, I met with my chiropractor, and I just wasn't finding any help by this point. He was helping me, but it was still happening. I ended up going to a physical therapist with the knowledge that I have now. I'm equipped with knowledge now at the time of my relapse. With the knowledge that I have, so she was able to say, oh, okay, I know what's going on now. The first step's identifying, but she didn't have to do that. I told her what was going on. Well, she actually identified some things that he didn't. Just a few simple things that he didn't notice that was also causing an issue. She actually began working with my hips a little bit more than what originally I did the first time around. And she began strengthening that area, and she recommended Pilates as well. So with those two recommendations, found an amazing Pilates instructor and began working with all 3 of them. Granted, hey, I know what everybody's probably thinking, oh, well, it must be nice to have money. Well, certainly this does cost money, and I didn't have it. I didn't have it. I took a leap of faith. I'm in some debt still from it. I got to tell you, it was worth every penny. At least I'm a healthy Stacey now. Just to bring it around is the key, is to being open to many different types of treatments and never giving up hope that somebody knows. Yeah. Somebody knows, and they're going to find it.
Right. Don't take yes as the first answer. Don't take no as the first answer, and to keep seeking. I agree. So many of the folks I speak with, well, my doctor said this. Well, first of all, a doctor's not God. And secondly, one doctor doesn't have the answers to everything. So, I mean, and that's not slamming anybody. That's just a fact. I mean, they're only human. And so with that in mind, do you have any suggestions or advice that you would give to a healthcare provider who is having a difficult time pinpointing with accuracy a diagnosis?
My suggestion would be much the same to them, to be open-minded, to not be afraid to refer to alternative treatments. Many doctors don't have a lot good to say about chiropractors.
Yes.
And chiropractors don't always seem to really have much to say about medical doctors. And both of them think they're right. And physical therapists they never really trust chiropractors all the way. I guess if I had any suggestion to the medical field is to really, really not discount alternative therapies. They're starting to learn more about alternative therapies, and it's okay. I just want them to do what's best for their patients, and I would suggest, with that in mind, to do their best. They're not getting the right help for their patients, or if they aren't able to solve the issue, to not be too proud to say, let's try this. Right. That's where I stand with that.
I fully agree with that assessment, yeah. Stacey, what a pleasure to have met you, and thank you for sharing your story with our listeners, because I think it's these real life, wow, this happened to just a regular person. It can happen to me, and it does happen to so many people. So to take Stacey's word, seek additional counsel and not be afraid to explore, and don't take the first answer. What a pleasure to have you. I so appreciate it.
Oh, you're wonderful, Pat. Thank you so much.
I'm Jerry the Germ with a Speak Up and Stay Alive healthcare and hospital safety snippet just for you. Sponsored by the Junction Auto family. People you can trust for your next Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, GMC, or Jeep. US 322 and Ohio 44 since 1931. Or visit junctionautofamily.com. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to pay less, that's Junction's business. Here's our expert, Pat Rulo.
Hey, Jerry, I bet you and your germ friends just run and hide whenever you hear the happy birthday song. Oh yeah, people are finding out that the best way to disinfect their hands is to use good old-fashioned soap and water and a lot of friction. And they know that 15 seconds of scrubbing will do the trick. How long is 15 seconds? Long enough to sing or hum the happy birthday song. Yep, everyone's humming the happy birthday song just to get rid of you. Sorry, Jerry, but you're going down the drain.
Stay safe. Listen to Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 here on AM 1220 WHKW. For more information, go to speakupandstayalive.com.
Tired of the same old presentations?
Can you forward to slide 38, please?
Are you looking for a new, out-of-the-box topic for your next event? Want your group to leave inspired, informed, and satisfied? No PowerPoint presentations and dim lights here. No snoring or snoozing goes on during Pat's presentations. To help your entire group, organization, business, or church stay safe during any healthcare or hospital experience, invite Pat to speak. Pick a topic from her website or request your own. Visit her website, speakupandstayalive.com, or call Pat to discuss how she can make your next event fun, enlightening, and life-saving. Want testimonials? Go to the bulletin board link at the website for color pictures and comments from real people. Again, it's speakupandstayalive.com or call 440-725-5462. That's 440-725-5462.
Okay.
Well, we're back. Speak Up and Stay Alive, Patient Safety Radio. I am your hostess, Pat Rulo, also author of the book, Speak Up and Stay Alive, The Patient Advocate Hospital Survival Guide, a book that explores and exposes more than 17 different hospital hazards, what they are, how and why they happened, and most important of all, what you can do about them. And you can have your very own copy, signed by me, delivered to your door in just a day or two. Sorry, no drones here. Just go to the website, speakupandstayalive.com, or call me at 440-725-5462. That's 440-725-5462, and you can order the book by phone if you do not have internet access. Well, now it's game time, and the boys picked...
Shocking news from around the world.
All right, guys, I'm sure you know it, but just as a reminder, here's how it goes. I will read a health-related statement, and you have to decide if it is true, or that would be a shock.
Wow.
Or is it false, and that would be a crock.
Oh.
All right, here is a Speak Up and Stay Alive. Shocking news number one. A smartphone exploded in a 7-year-old girl's pocket, leaving her with horrific leg injuries, which went to the bone and required a skin transplant. Is that a shock, or is it a crock?
Personally, I'm going to say it's a shock, and I think that once it exploded, that was never revealed on TV, and it should have been. They're covering that up.
Ooh.
I think it's a cover-up.
All right.
I think it's a shock. Sometimes these electronic devices will explode at random.
Spontaneous explosion. It is a shock, guys.
Wow.
And Samsung offered to pay for all of the medical bills and plastic surgery, but the girl's father has so far refused to return the torched handset for fear of his daughter's horrifying story being hushed up. Kind of what you said, Bob. But a Samsung spokesperson said, once we get hold of the product in question, we will investigate internally. We would like to assure that the safety of our customers is our top priority.
Yeah, it's always internal. Let's get some independent to investigate it.
I don't know. It was a real ugly picture. Good thing it's radio.
You got it.
All right, boys. The Speak Up and Stay Alive shocking news number 2. Taco Bell, Burger King, and other brands are using horse meat in their products. Is that a shock, or is it a crock? Eric, have you heard of this?
No, I don't want it to be true, so I'm just going to say a crock.
He's going like this, la 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 la.
Because I'm going to say it's a shock.
Oh my gosh. Sadly, it is a shock.
Wow.
While testing an estimated 1,797 meat products for horse DNA, more name brands have been identified in addition to those I just mentioned, such as Bird's Eye Traditional Spaghetti Bolognese and Beef Lasagna.
Oh, gosh.
But anyway, the website claims that these franchises use high-quality ingredients, and those are 100% beef that are, in quotes, seasoned with our signature recipe. Well, horse meat was found in Taco Bell's tacos, burritos, gorditas, chalupas, and nachos. It is claimed by the corporation that the horse meat originated in Europe. Now, Burger King has recently admitted that there is horse meat in their products. Now, the veterinarian drug BUTE, I guess it's bute, was found in the horses slaughtered for meat and sent to processing plants to be passed off as beef in products sold to customers. Bute is also called phenylbutazone. It's a painkiller and a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory used on horses and considered harmful in humans if ingested. In the United States and the UK, bute has been linked to cancer and banned from use.
Oh, my God. This makes you not want to eat out any place, anytime.
All of the drugs that are being fed to these horses that aren't meant for human consumption.
Oh, wow. That's scary.
All right, guys, speak up and stay alive. Shocking news number 3. Women in 57 countries are wearing a patch on their arm, and because of it, think they are beautiful. Is that a shock or is it a crock?
You caught me completely off guard. I'm going to say it's a shock, but I don't know why. You can't figure it out, can you, Eric?
Oh, it's confusing here, right?
So I'll say shock for the same reason as Bob.
You're right. It is a shock. I wish it were a crock.
Wow.
Here's another manipulative company, Dove, as in Dove soap. Their latest scheme on behalf of the Campaign for Real Beauty is a propaganda campaign. These patches, it's just a small, round, white, sticky circle, and it's a way for women to, quote, discover how the right state of mind can unlock a powerful feeling of beauty that lives inside all women. Well, Dove has taken it upon themselves to fool their customers with a fake campaign in the name of raising the self-esteem of women across the globe and to sell products that will facilitate this false sense of self-worth. Dove says, when a woman feels beautiful, she radiates happiness and confidence, which inspires her life in a significant way. These women, like so many others, struggle to recognize their own beauty, and it severely affects their daily lives. This groundbreaking experiment was designed to illustrate that beauty is a state of mind and the power to feel beautiful comes from within. Now, there is no additive or chemical that enhances the beauty of the wearer of the patch. In fact, there is nothing on the patch at all.
Sounds like to me they hired a good psychologist to put something together.
It is purely a psychological tactic to get the wearers to purchase these patches to make themselves feel beautiful without any actual benefit.
I don't know. A lot of times you hear the advice, fake it till you make it. Maybe that's what the patch inspires
I like
you to
that,
do.
Eric. Fake it till you make it. That's good.
I'd say that Dove is laughing at these women and cashing in on a hoax. You guys wearing any patches?
No.
Bobby, got a patch on?
No patch.
Okay, no patch. Here we go. Speak up and stay alive. Shocking news number 4. Unhumped camels, known as dromedaries, are responsible for the coronavirus called MERS. Is that a shock or is it a crock? Ooh, lots of interesting words in that sentence.
I heard about MERS, M-E-R-S, as being a infection that's came to the United States and it kills people in the Arab world. But I didn't know it was by camels, but I'm going to say it's a shock.
Okay.
All right, I'll guess shock too.
It's true. It is a shock.
Wow.
Yes. The first U.S. case of MERS, it stands for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, a version of the coronavirus, has been reported in Indiana, and this is the first, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The patient is a healthcare provider who recently traveled to Saudi Arabia to provide healthcare. It comes from the same group of viruses as the common cold and attacks the respiratory system, symptoms which include fever, cough, and shortness of breath, and it can lead to pneumonia and kidney failure. The CDC has issued general precautions, as we do on this show all of the time, such as frequent hand washing, avoiding close contact with infected people, avoiding touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands, and disinfecting surfaces that are frequently touched. And no, the coronavirus has nothing to do with drinking beer.
Thank you.
One-humped camels are called dromedaries.
Well, at least I know that now.
Yeah. And now, guys, for the week's most awaited moment. What is it, Bob?
I'm not saying a word. I'll let Eric talk.
Naked more at minute.
Wow.
The naked mole rat was actually in the news this week on ABC News. Did you guys hear about this?
I didn't hear it.
No.
Okay, well, first, they had to insult the poor guy by stating that it looked like a soggy cigar with fangs.
Oh, boy, that's exciting.
Is that rude?
That's
Oh.
that's actually kind of original. I've never heard it described that way.
All right. Anyway, the Bar Shop Institute, and I guess I have to question anything called the Bar Shop Institute.
Sounds like he's drinking.
Corona?
Yeah, Corona.
Well, anyway, the Bar Shop Institute at the University of Texas Health Center in San Antonio. Well, the institute, directed by Rochelle Buffenstein, is center stage for several research projects. Her research is focusing on age-related changes in the naked mole rat compared to other similar animals. And they said, if we could fully unravel the mysteries of the naked mole rat, we might be able to eliminate and beat back the debilitating effects of the aging process. And they said, maybe we could live for 300 years.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
The 300-year figure is staggering.
It is. Well, I guess, the naked mole rat lives to be over 30, so I don't know how rat years are compared
They're
to
about a year.
Human years. No.
Rats are about a year and a half.
Oh, that's what they usually live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here the naked mole rat's 30 times that many, so you're looking at
Yeah.
about 300, so that's probably true.
Naked mole rat. All right. Well, listen, this was huge that the naked mole rat was in the news. Well, guys, this has been another mind-boggling gamelet of sorts, wouldn't you say?
I think it was neat.
All right. And folks, stay in your seat. No fake patches here. There's more healthcare and hospital safety tips coming up on America's favorite and perhaps only patient safety radio show. Speak Up and Stay Alive. Radio. Naked mole
That's
rat?
a wrap. That's a
Naked
wrap.
mole rat.
Naked mole rat. Oh, guys, you're fun. It's summer, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to have some fun with your friends, your family, and there's only one place to do that. Pioneer Waterland and Dry Fun Park, 10661 Kyle Road in Chardon, Ohio, 440-285-0910, or visit the website pioneerwaterland.com. See you there. And remember, Father's Day is Sunday, June 21st, and all dads get into Pioneer Waterland at half price. Go check it out. The new owners have spent a bundle of time and money. You'll be amazed at the new bathrooms, the shiny fun slides. It's a day of fun for you and your favorite dad. And tell them that I sent you. Now, I want to share a short email with you because often I receive messages like this that underscore the need to have a patient safety Bible, if you will, to bring to the hospital with you, to give as a gift, to read and reread as a way to become informed and therefore somewhat safe. Hi, Pat. I have attended 2 of your presentations at Gold Canyon, Arizona several years ago. I was influential in bringing you to our resort, Canyon Vistas, during our Cancer Awareness Week. I have bought your book, but find I have left it in Arizona. We have friends here in South Dakota whose aunt was in a very serious auto accident with broken hip, femur, knee, ribs, some neck bones, and a punctured lung. She is 80 years old. She has contracted an infection since being hospitalized in May. I was telling my friend about your book and some of the things I remembered from your presentations. I offered to share your book with her family, but alas, I do not have your book here in South Dakota. Is there any chance I could buy another and share it with my friend and her family? The family is doing 24-hour hospital stays with their mother. I know they could use some help. Thank you, Pat. Colleen. And I say, don't wait for an accident or a health disaster to occur to begin to think about having your own book, your own patient safety Bible. Get one today. Each book is only $19.95 plus a few dollars to cover shipping. A teeny price to pay for the guidance it offers. Just go to the website, speakupandstayalive.com. Speak Up and, all spelled out, speakupandstayalive.com. Visit the shop page. Or call me and order by phone, 440-725-5462. That's 440-725-5462. Book proceeds benefit the Support Project, where we send handmade one-of-a-kind pillowcases to homeless veteran shelters, women and children's domestic abuse homes, and now we're adding cage comforters to animal rescue shelters. Everybody wins. You get a book that could save your life, and some unknown human being or tiny sad animal gets a small token of your and our appreciation. Buy several as gifts. It sure beats bringing a vase of flowers to a hospital patient that dies within days. That's the flowers that die, not the patient. Go to speakupandstayalive.com or call 440-725-5462. Well, my friends, our time is almost up. Too bad, because I always have so much to tell you. But the good news is you can come back next week. Same time, same place, but never the same information. Until then, think about any group, club, business, church, or hospital you're associated with and invite me to speak to that group. Then we'll have more in-person time together. I hope you have a healthy and a happy week, free from dirty hands and 14 misdiagnosing doctors. I am Pat Rouleau, and I am your guide to safe and successful healthcare and hospital encounters.
Listen to Pat Rouleau and Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio. Stay safe from little-known healthcare and hospital hazards. To learn more, go to speakupandstayalive.com. That's speakupandstayalive.com. Hello, my name is Joe. Is this Pat Rouleau, the host of Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio?
Why, yes, it is.
Who are you?
Who am I? I am you. I am every person who has ever been in a hospital or doctor's office and has received less than acceptable treatment.
Who are you?
I am you, the person who got an infection during a simple outpatient procedure.
Wait, who are you?
I am you, the patient whose questions are ignored, who struggles to speak to the doctor as he or she has one foot out the door. I am the missed heart attack, the hospital-acquired infection, the wrong diagnosis, the unanswered call button.
Oh, so you're all about me. Do you have a quick tip to help me stay safe?
Take care of yourself by paying attention to infection opportunities. Where are they lurking? Waiting room magazines, TV remotes, elevator buttons, doorknobs, restrooms. The opportunity to acquire an infection in the hospital is huge. Germs and bacteria are everywhere. They float in the air, live on your clothes and hands, and reside on everything in sight. The consequences of a hospital-acquired infection are grave. Yet, prevention is simple. Be a germaphobe. Be a clean freak. And Joe, wash your hands often and remind others to wash theirs before touching you.
Listen to Pat Rouleau and Speak Up and Stay Alive Radio. Stay safe from little-known healthcare and hospital hazards. To learn more, go to speakupandstayalive.com. That's speakupandstayalive.com.